Hi, I'm Lloyd and this is the Lloyd and Friends YouTube channel that you're watching. I do two things on my YouTube channel. One is I interview other people who I find interesting. That program is called Lloyd and Friends, interesting conversations with interesting people. And those segments are usually an hour or so, interview sessions. And then also I have a second kind of objective. It's called Lloyd's Commentaries, where I do 5 or 10 minute commentaries on whatever I want to talk about. In any event, I like to try different things to find out what's going to work. Sometimes I do something that I think is interesting, and I get 3 or 4 people watch it. Not too much interest. So what I do, I wish I had millions of viewers, but obviously there's just not that many people that interested in the same things that I'm interested in. But nevertheless, one of my commentaries, and I try to stick by that, is who cares, who cares? What that was all about was simply that we do what we do because that's what we do. And I'm not going to, even if I was able to generate a nickel or a dime doing this, which I don't, I've never, over a number of years working with internet and doing websites and commentaries like this, I've never made a dime off of it. I've never figured out how to make any money. And so I've always done it simply because that's what I like to do. Is to just, if I sit around thinking about an idea, I wonder if somebody else might be interested in that. And so I try to put it out here and have this YouTube forum. Now, in my Lloyd and Friends series, I generally have focused on older people, sort of a historical project. Older people that live here locally around me or anywhere really that I think are interesting people. Now my standards are pretty low. I find everybody interesting, and so I may interview somebody that you don't find very interesting. In any event, I find everybody interesting, so therefore I interview everybody, anybody who might, about me willing to come in and sit down with me. But mostly I find older people interesting because older people have lived lives and they have had a lot of experiences and they have experienced history that a lot of younger people have not seen. They weren't even born during that time. And so to me, that sounds like it would be interesting, something interesting to do. And so most of my guests have been older people. But every now and then I run into something, and I'll be honest with you, being older, I don't find young people, I mean, I raised 3 children and I love them and I love young people, but I don't really find young people that interesting. Number one, because many of them don't seem to be that interested in being interesting. Young people have a narrow scope of experiences in their life, and that might be usually something around music or something around what they and their peers at school are talking about. It's nothing I'm interested in. I'm an old guy, and when you sit down generally and try to have a conversation with a young person, it's going to be usually pretty limited. And so I don't find young people that interesting because I don't find them that interested. I don't find young people to be that interested in what I'm doing, so I guess I'm not interested in what they're doing. But every now and then I find an exception. I'm always watching because I am extremely impressed when I encounter a young person who's able to sit down and carry on a good conversation and actually be interested and ask me something about me. That's highly unusual because young people are typically egocentric. The world revolves around them. In any event, I've been thinking about this, and I bumped into this young fella recently, a young black man. He's 25 years old. His name is Marlon Lee. And Lee was just open, and somebody told him that I was doing podcasting, and he came running over to me and said, "I understand you do podcasting. I'm doing that, and I'm interested in that, and I'd like to see what you're doing." And so Marlon and I decided we'd get together and see if there might be something we could do that would be fun, and it would be interesting for other people. And so we've done that. I don't know whether this will be of interest or not. But I find Marlon to be a very nice, sweet young man, very loving and sincere. And, so I said, well, let's just sit down and let me interview you. Let's just do kind of what I do and let you kind of tell your story. And if it works out good, if we can have a conversation without having a fight or an argument, then maybe we'll do some other things. So you can let me know. I've taken about 40 minutes in this episode to talk and have a conversation with Marlon Lee, and I'll introduce him at this point. We'll put the camera on Marlon, and let us know what you think. Have a great day. This is Lloyd Albritton, and here I am on my YouTube channel, Lloyd and Friends. Interesting conversations with interesting people. We've had all sorts of people on the channel, and this morning my guest on the program is a young man by the name of Marlon Lee. Marlon's on the camera here. Wave and say hello, Marlon.
What's going on, man?
So here's Marlon. Marlon and I just met recently and discovered that we both enjoy doing podcasting, and Marlon said, listen, why don't we get together and see if we can figure out having some fun together and do some things. And so Marlon's over here at my house at my home studio. He does his own thing, and I kind of do my own thing. And so hopefully we can have some fun together and do something that might be interesting for you. And so Marlon, why don't I introduce you at this point, and you tell me just a little bio about who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Marlon Lee, and I'm from Hatmore, Alabama. I was raised here, and I'm 25, and so like I say, I do podcasting myself. It's the Voice of Manifestation. Y'all can go subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and basically I just like to mingle with people. I love people. You know, that's one thing about me. I love people, and I feel like everybody got a story. That's the type of person I am. So I just like to mingle with people, and
you kind of got to be interested in even doing this.
Exactly, and just enjoy life, cause life worth. You know what I'm saying? It's worth enjoying and doing the stuff you like to do and stuff like that. So
you must be interested in not just people, but things as well. If I say, well, what do you like? And you say, well, I like basketball. Is that it? Well, no, I like a lot of different. So you're interested in
a lot of stuff. I'm a big person. I like music. All different types of music. You know.
Are you a musician? Do you sing or play
harmonica? Growing up in church, I played the drums a little bit.
Okay.
You know, growing up in church, but I never really been like no musician, like in a band or nothing like that. But I say I enjoy music. I say I enjoy music for what it is, because music can be like therapeutic. You know, all different genres and stuff like that. So I enjoy music for what it is. You know, like the art of music. I guess that's true.
What's your favorite?
My favorite, I have to say, I don't know if you want to call it blues or you want to call it love music.
Okay.
But that in there.
I like blues.
I don't know if it's blues, because I grew like my grandma, like before she passed away and stuff like that. And growing up, I used to be around my grandma. Like she loved blues music. Like, so I love songs like Charlie Wilson and all them type of people and blues and different stuff like that. So I love that type of music. And second to that, it's like Christian. Of course, I love Christian music. You know what I'm saying? But like my go-to therapeutic music, like there's a lot of people don't know about me. Like I like love music and blues and stuff like that.
What's that guy's name? Isaac. He's an older guy. He's older than you. He sang this real bluesy love kind of me. Something Isaac.
I would say I don't really know a whole lot of names, but I know the music. I put it like that. I know the music, like, so like if I go on YouTube and stuff, I may not even know these people who sang these songs, but I know the names of the songs. I know how to actually go to them, and like over time, I learned the names of, oh, okay, that's such and such, that's this person. But usually, I just know the name, like I just know the name or what the song be saying, and I go on YouTube and I search it up and I get to it right there.
Okay. You know, we talked a little bit before we came on camera here about what we're going to talk about, and one of the things that we talked about was what could you and I say in a conversation that anybody else would be interested in. I mean, we like one another and we have a good conversation, but what could we talk about that somebody else might be interested in? Now, the reason I'm bringing it, kind of broaching that, is because what we, in relation to that, what we observed was that what differences do we have? Well, I'm an old white guy and you're a young black guy.
Right.
All right. So, in terms of music, this just kind of runs through my mind, and I'm just going to say it because you said you can handle it, right?
Right.
We can talk about anything we want to. Blues music, is that black music or white music? Or is it, does it identify with anything?
I ain't gonna put no race on it, but I get what you're saying, in like, you know, in our respect. Well, it's mainly black people, like who sang it and
Blues
stuff
music.
like it's mainly,
Early on. Now, what was the guy? The Johnson guys used to sing early blues music. I'm going way back to the 1920s.
Oh, see,
Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson was an old Mississippi blues guy.
Right.
And blues was originally a black kind of music, right? Because what's blues about? It's about my suffering, right?
Yeah.
It's about woe is me. Oh man, I mean, I'm crying. Blues will make you cry, right?
Yeah, cause one thing about blues, I feel like blues hit home kind of more than any type of music. You know what I'm saying? Outside of Christian music, you know.
Right.
But like, blues is one of them like music that is like, it's gonna tell the truth about anything. About how you feeling. It's gonna tell the truth about women or men or whatever. It's like it's gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Like they gonna tell exactly. So I feel like you can feel it a little bit more than anything, you know.
But of course, feeling is not a racial thing either. Everybody got feeling.
Exactly.
And when white people tapped into blues music, Muddy Waters, you know, all those early old blues guys were black guys.
Right.
And then white guys started picking up on blues music, and now it's really kind of mixed now. Isn't it?
And there ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
No, it's not wrong.
Because it's the influence. It's whatever, you know. I feel like whatever people grow to, that's what they grow to. You know, I know a lot of people like to act like people own this, we own this. You know, if you influenced by something, you influenced by something.
It's sort of let's see, I'm gonna make a mic here adjustment here. Okay, that should be all right. You might talk. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah. My graph is just a little bit bigger than yours, so I'm probably talking louder or more directly into the microphone. No, I had occasion in business one time to go to Chicago, and I stayed in a hotel downtown Chicago, and Chicago, of course, always associated with blues music.
Right.
And boy, I went to several of those downtown clubs. And I loved it. I mean, just some great blues music in Chicago. It's what I'll always remember about having visited in Chicago is that blues music. Early on, you know who Elvis was, right?
Yeah.
You know, people didn't know whether Elvis was black or white because he had feeling in his music. You know, white people kind of sang that old stage country music. Yeah. And the black guys, that don't move me very much, you know. And then Elvis came along and he couldn't quit shaking because he grew up on Pentecostal holiness, you know, church music.
Right.
And he felt it.
He knew it.
He knew that, and you know, people couldn't tell over the radio whether he was black or white.
I heard a lot of people. I heard a lot of country people like that. Like country, or I don't know their name. I'm saying like I know what you mean. Like just in music in general, you'll think that's this type of person, but it's not. Just off the voice, you know what I'm saying? But it's not. It's a whole.
Well, what do you think about? Now I know you don't know nothing about country music, do you?
No, not really.
You don't know. All right, I'll just tell you. Have you ever heard of a guy named Charlie Pride? Okay, Charlie Pride is a legendary country music singer. He came out late 40s, 50s. I don't even know if Charlie might be still living, right? But people didn't know he was a big star over the radio before people started seeing him at concerts,
Right.
and they didn't believe it was the real Charlie Pride because he sang like a white guy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that was what he grew up with. Now, I know you don't listen to country music because you didn't grow up on country music, right? But is there something? Is that a white music, or can that? Because there's a lot of black people singing country music more and more.
I put it like this: like the majority, like country. I feel like it's majority of white people, and I feel like blues is majority of black people. And like I say, I'm not saying it's a race thing. I'm saying I feel it's because basically what you just said, what you grew up on.
You grew up on.
People grow up different. So once you grow up different type of stuff influence you. You know what I'm saying? Like most people, you grow up in the country, like you gonna be listening to like country music, all back roads. You know
Right.
about all that type of stuff. So I feel like it's whatever you influence to.
Right.
Yeah.
And some of that country music, they turn it into kind of blues.
Yeah.
It's
they,
like
they get really creative now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
I get some of that tissue.
Yeah. Go ahead. Just grab the whole box there.
Yeah.
You good. Yeah, it's winter season. We got sniffles here. But now, you know who the Rolling Stones are, right?
I heard of them, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. What do you think about rock and roll? Like early rock and roll, Chuck Berry. You know who Chuck Berry was?
I say a lot of these people I know.
He was early rock and roll.
The reason I say I didn't really listen, like I was in a music class when we was in high school, like we had to get into it. So I know a lot of these people that you're talking about, but I never was fond of the music. I don't know. I guess.
Okay, you didn't grow up on it. Okay.
Yeah.
See, that was what I cut my teeth on. Mid '50s, Elvis came out, Jerry Lee Lewis, and you had early black artists like Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke, legendary. I mean, he sang crooner, love kind of music, and he had Chuck Berry, Roll Over Beethoven. You know,
Yeah.
And Jerry Lee Lewis. He was along that era, you know. But that's where music sort of started to mix between black and white. Okay, let's take it back. We're talking about music, the different kinds of music, black music, white music.
Right.
I'm asking you about rap.
Rap.
Okay, I don't get rap. I'm an old white guy. I don't get rap.
I feel like rap to me mainly stem from like.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, but it's certain music, you know, because like I said, I feel like rap stem from like situations, struggles, stuff like that. And like you had like people like Tupac and you got them different art. Like I like to hear people that really talk about, you know, the realness. Cause it's just like country music and anything else. It's like basically like whatever you can relate to. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like basically whatever you can relate to, that's how I grow to it. You know, different people, cause you can relate to different things.
Can you ever really learn to love a different kind of music? I mean, the old early rock and roll, I came of age in the 50s with the early rock and roll.
Yeah.
That'll always be my favorite. I mean, I like blues and I like different kind of music.
I feel like you can't, if you're an open person, cause just like me, I heard of it, but I guess it's called, what is it, like jazz or something?
Jazz?
See,
no, I don't understand jazz.
Now see, I always said that I like to go to I don't know what they call them, the places, but you know they be in there playing the jazz.
Little club kind of.
Yeah, like I like to go to something like that just to see. Like I'm this type of person. Like when I say I'm an open person, I like to get in different environments just to see what it's like. You know, because you got different people. Okay, these people like this, these people like this. I like to just dab in your environment, just see like, okay, what y'all got going on, what y'all like, what y'all kind of see in this. Just, you know, because you may like it. See, a lot of people just be closed up. They be like, oh, I don't like that, but they never even experienced it. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you like. It's a lot of stuff you can get if you stay an open person. You know what I'm saying?
Would you say you might hook into it, but probably not?
What? As far as what?
As far as going said to experience jazz music,
Mm-hmm.
something you're not familiar with, y'all, but you say I have an open mind and
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I
go
like
check it
to
out.
at least just one time. I like to, cause you know I see it on movies. I see people talk about it. I like to see, cause I don't know what it is that people like about it. I don't know. It could be calming. It could be, I don't know what they like about it. You know, but I just want to see.
What I'm saying though is okay. So you got an open mind. You're gonna go check it out.
Right.
Maybe you can find some appreciation.
Mhm.
You say, well, I can see, you know,
Right.
I can see that maybe, you know, but the probability of you saying, "Wow, man, that just blew me away," and I'm a jazz guy now. Yeah, I'm gonna go around and listen to that. Ain't likely to happen.
Nah, that probably ain't gonna happen.
Because you're gonna pretty much take. Okay. Now the reason I'm setting this up
Mm-hmm.
because I have an interest. Because you know where we met. Marlon came to church. He came to my church.
Right.
And you know, I grew up here. Now you grew up here in Atmore, right? Okay. So I grew up Pentecostal holiness, you know, type of emotional type church,
Mhm.
and you know, in Atmore, people still refer to black church and white church.
Yeah.
They still use that term,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
they
we're
do.
just gonna cross racial boundaries
Yeah.
here.
They do.
And if I said it's a white church,
Mm-hmm.
what would that drum up in your mind? It's kind of a quiet and staid, maybe. Ain't gonna be much emotion to it. It's gonna be kind of quiet and orderly. And
Yeah.
if you said, now I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna go to church with you. I'm gonna tell you right now, my church is a black church.
Right.
All right, now it kind of tells me a lot, don't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
It tells me
Mhm.
what the service is gonna kind of be like. It's gonna be a little bit louder, right? More emotion
Yeah.
and stuff.
And like I say, while I'm open about everything, like I just told you with music, I'm the same way with church. You know, cause like even them, you know, they had came, you know, they was coming around, coming to people doors and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I ended up talking to them about 10 minutes one day in my front yard about God and stuff like that. And they
Right.
wanted me to come by the church, you know, so that's why I ended up coming. And like I say, I'm open even when it comes to church because, like I say, I like to see how people do different things. See, when I went to y'all church different from when I grew up, but it's, the main point still Jesus Christ at the end of the
Right.
day. But it's like, okay, I see how they do things over here, or I see how what I grew up on. I see how we do things. I see how they do things over here. Just the open mind, you know, because I feel like you can take something from all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's unusual. Is it unusual for a young guy like you to have an open mind about stuff? Religion,
I
for
was-
example.
I would say now. I would say now I don't feel like it's open minded because I feel like now people that grow up now like us younger, just like we want to experience a lot. Like you know, our mama. You know, I'm just going back from a younger age.
You want to
Like
experience life.
they'll tell you not to do something, but you still want to see for yourself. That type of mentality. A lot of us got that. But it can grow into something good as you get older. Like I say, it keep you like, okay, it ain't nothing bad you dabbing into, but it's just like I'm wondering. I still got that, what you call it, like when you a kid and they be suspicious about something. I still got that same suspicious
You're young,
as
yeah.
I'm growing up, yeah.
Well, I don't disagree with that because I'm a lot older than you are, and I had the same. You know, I went out, sowed my oats,
Right.
so to speak. You know,
Right.
I mean, I knew what was right, but I never had to. I mean, it looked like those other guys were maybe having more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
they were saying, "Man, come go with me. We'll have more fun than you having over at church."
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure about it, but I did not
yeah.
believe it either.
Oh
so,
yeah, right.
But I was speaking actually more in terms of not whether you're going to follow God or not. In other
Mhm.
words, do the right thing.
Right.
But what's the word? Manner of how what kind of church that you would consider. What's the right? Is there a right way and a wrong way to worship God? Or is there a way that's more correct than another way?
To me, in my opinion, no. Because as I got to learn more about God, like worshiping God is in different ways. If you seek this stuff, you would know more about it. But you know, if you don't seek it and you go off what everybody else say, you just gonna But a lot of people, first thing you think about worship, you think about singing and stuff, right? That ain't even the only form of worship. You just acknowledging God is worship. You doing something just like you doing it for God is worship. Say you going to work, you like I'm gonna work like I'm like God is right here. You know, that's a form of worship.
Okay.
Giving stuff your all and acknowledging God and everything that you do. It's a form of worship. It just don't have to be.
Or what about meditation? What about just, you don't have to say anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly, because that's another thing too. When you talking to God, when you having a conversation like meditating, you don't have to always say nothing. See, God can come and speak to you through your mind. That's how He come anyway. But like you don't have to always say nothing, cause don't sometimes you be able to say stuff in your mind without opening your mouth.
Absolutely.
You can have a conversation with God like that.
And you know what? Here's another thing I think about too, is if I open my mouth, I only speak one language. I only speak English.
Yeah.
Right? That's the only language I speak.
Right.
Now, is that God's language, English? Because you got your Spanish and your French and your Portuguese. What language does God speak? He doesn't speak English.
That's an interesting question, because I think when we was in church, I think somebody asked that. I don't know if it was you or not.
It might have been me. It's the kind of question that I ask.
But like I said, I like that because this is stuff that it's good questions. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like God made all languages. He made all people. So I feel like whatever you speak, He'll understand it. Just like you got the Bible written in different ways.
That's right.
Because everybody don't understand it the same. So
Yeah.
I feel like He made all of us, so if He made all of us, I feel like He'll understand all of us. I just look at it like that.
You don't necessarily have to. He speaks all the languages.
Yeah, and it is more of a spirit. Like I don't want to sound crazy, but it's more of a spirit. So a spirit don't got a language on it. If you understand what I'm saying, like.
I think I understand
when
exactly.
you speaking from your spirit, when you do like it don't have like a spiritual relationship. It don't have a language on it. When you voice stuff verbally, that's a language, but like spiritual, there ain't no language to it.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right, and I think there's a lot of people who agree with us. But now here we are, both of us from Atmore. We like one another naturally, and we're getting along okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not unusual. Of course, it might be unusual. I don't know. For I'm a Mormon, and let's say you're a Baptist.
Right.
Okay. I like Marlon fine. He's a Baptist, but I still like him, right? But now we got a lot of division in the world today, particularly right now in the world wars, between Islam and the stuff that's happened over there. People literally hate one another.
Yeah.
I mean, where is the common ground that people, and I don't even know how much difference, it just goes back to 1,000 years of who was descended from who, and who had a child that was rejected and blah, blah, blah. It goes back to thousands of years of history. They hate one another. They really don't know why. Why do people hate one another?
I feel like
over religion?
I feel like the answer to a lot of problems, to a lot of division, it ain't the easiest thing to do. A lot of people don't like to do it, but it's love, really, to me. Cause just think about it. If you was to love each other, a lot of stuff won't even happen.
It must be. Are we missing a lot of love?
Yeah.
So if you got love in your heart,
but a lot of people, they don't know how to take hate and still get love too. Somebody can hate you, but some people gonna go hate for hate. Some people, But I feel like if the world would just get more love, a lot of this stuff wouldn't happen. But one thing I had to realize too is like, the world ain't gonna be perfect. Heaven perfect. The world ain't never gonna be perfect. But you can spread as much goodness and love as you can while you here. Yeah, basically do your part. Everybody here got a part to do, but the world is never gonna be perfect. That's heaven. This ain't heaven. You know what I'm saying?
okay.
But you can experience some good things too. Just like God say, He say He'll do it on earth as He will in heaven. But this ain't heaven though. But He will
I got
show
you.
himself to you on this side too.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's hit one more thing. What Marlon and I decided we'd do was we would just sit down at the microphone and talk and see where it went. See if we ended up in a fight or if we could love one another.
Right.
Now, so I've hit on music. Okay. A notorious area of maybe disagreement.
Right.
We've hit on religion.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me hit on one more, and we'll close our
Okay.
session down. Not for good. We'll do some more of these.
Yeah.
Politics.
Politics.
Are you? What's your thoughts on? We've got a lot of political. Not much love.
You probably
lost.
have to explain that a little more to me, because I never really paid attention to politics.
You got politics? You're 25. Do you vote?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
How do you usually vote? How do you decide who to vote for?
Really? Well, I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes
You don't know.
I don't know, like, because I put it like this, and see, like I said, I don't be want to sound crazy to people, but I'm a real big believer in God, and I feel like at the end of the day, it don't matter who get picked anyway. Like, what's gonna happen, and God gonna be in control all of it regardless.
But you do believe in voting.
I believe you should, but I don't. It may not be fair, but I believe you should do it though. I guess for your own opinion.
Okay. All right, but now I'm gonna press you a little bit here because you sound like you're fudging just a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you vote?
I vote.
You don't vote, do you?
I vote. Because when you turned this on age, you had to. I think after you like 18, 21.
No, you don't have to vote, but you can vote. I think it's either 18 or 21. I think it's 18.
Oh, yeah, I vote, though. I vote. Wherever I find out what voting and whoever I...
And what? How do you determine who you're gonna vote?
So you want to see how I determine like who?
How do you determine who you're gonna vote for? You said you believe in God and you're looking for the candidate who is going to govern.
Yeah.
Like you think would be the right way.
I think I look for whoever between people, whoever is the most open-minded person. Who the most uncontrolled type of person. Type of person who gonna go off like what they believe.
Does your candidate have to be righteous? Or can he be an evil man and still be a good ruler?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Something to think about.
So you saying like he can be, like, far as president goes, like control, whatever their job is, you saying he can be good in it but evil person. That's what you asking. Like, can he be an evil person but he good at what he do? That's what you asking.
Yeah. In other words, I've done a lot of things in my life I shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm continually trying to repent of those things and be a better person, right? But that don't mean I didn't do those things, right?
Yeah, true.
So if I were running for office,
Mm-hmm.
and you found out that old Lloyd Albright, geez, man, I heard this about you. I heard you did thus and such.
Well, okay, I put it like this.
I said, well, yeah, I did do that.
I put it like this.
You gonna hold it against me?
I choose and judge people out where they going, not where they being.
Not where they being.
Because a lot of people can't,
People can change.
It's where you being. You can't go back and do nothing about that.
Let's say I've had 6 wives. I cheated on all of them. Right?
Yeah.
But man, I finally got a good one now, I'm not going to cheat anymore, but I did do all that.
Well,
You going to be able to forgive me, or are you going to hold it against me?
but see, that's why I say all problems start with, the solution to all problems start with love. The reason I say that because, like you just say, if you had city women, you feel like you found the one, and she know that you whatever. Real love they gonna forgive you. They gonna overlook that.
All right. So you found old Lloyd Albright. He's a good guy. He ain't running around with women anymore. He's not doing no drugs and drinking, getting drunk, and all that kind of stuff. He's a good guy now, right? But what kind of ruler would he be if he was in charge of things? He really is kind of weak-kneed. Old Lloyd will go along with just about anybody. If I say I think, he'll say, you're right. I agree with that. Well, I don't know about him. If he was the ruler, I don't want a ruler that would just go along with it. Anybody to be. He's very likable, but I don't know if I'd be trusting him to be president or mayor or governor or something.
Well, if you're the type of person who ain't nothing wrong with questioning stuff either. People think it's wrong to question. Like it's okay to. That don't mean that the person, like, you could say something to me, but I can be like, I don't know, question it. That don't mean that you're wrong. It ain't nothing against you, but I feel like you got the right to just question something if you want to. Like you should.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is the difference between voting for, let's just take, for example, this is before your day, but we had a president, Jimmy Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy's still living. He's like 100 years old now, right? His record in office was abysmal. I mean, he probably goes down in history as one of our worst presidents, but he always was. Everybody loved old Jimmy Carter. He was a good man.
They love the person.
They love the person. And since then, Jimmy Carter has been out there building houses and doing things for people, and he's just an all-around good man. But his record, he's just a terrible president.
So you're saying the job
in history, right? So between the guy who's righteous and the guy who's competent, which one would you vote for? Is it possible for God to call an evil man to the right job?
Or a man who was once evil?
Well, let me
or
just,
a man who was once evil?
A man who's once, well, maybe he's not, maybe he's still a little bit evil.
Yeah.
Not evil, but flawed.
But
maybe he's kind of flawed.
I say this though, like a lot of stuff can be used for God's purpose, even people's sinful actions.
Like during World War II, there was a famous general, General Patton. They called him Blood and Guts Patton because he could win wars. Right? Now he was a mean SOB. Everybody worked for him, but boy, when they needed to fight the Nazis and when they needed to fight evil in the world, he was your man, right? Is it possible God called him to be there at that time and to fight because he was a fighting man? In the Bible, didn't King David?
But that's one thing I learned about.
Fight?
Like I say, because you still learn about them. You still, no matter how many times you read, you learn something all the time. But when I first started reading, it was a lot of like killing and stuff. I was trying to understand why. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of stuff. And see, that's one thing about the Bible. The Bible is raw and uncut. And I feel like, just like conversation we have, and I feel like you should have raw and uncut conversation because that's how God revealed himself to you. So I mean, it's a tricky question because I would go off my opinion. Now whether who get picked or right, I would just go off the righteous person. That's just me. Now, but if it's a person who they had a bad past, but they headed in the right way, now I would choose that person. But just a downright evil, still doing evil type, like, nah, I can't.
But you're not, at your age, you're not, I won't say addicted, but you're not stuck on Republican or Democrat, or you're not in.
I don't even know a whole lot about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like when people talk about it, I kind of be,
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, because I've been reading the Old Testament lately, and I was, been reading about King David, how that King David, the Lord called him a perfect man. The Lord loved David in old Israel.
Right.
But yet when it came, David wanted to build a temple for God, a place on the earth where God could come and visit his people. And David wanted to build that temple. And God said, no. He says, whoa, David. He says, hold up a minute. I love you, and I've anointed you king of Israel, all of that. But you got blood on your hands. All of your days has been fighting and warring and taking all these lands for Israel. I want the guy who builds the temple, he got to have cleaner hands than you. Your son Solomon will do that. And so in the Old Testament, when you go into that, you see that Solomon built the temple of the Lord. The Lord did not allow David to do that, although David was in the right place at the right time. He was not the guy to build the temple because his hands had too much blood on them. His wife.
Well, I would say this.
And so God chose David to do what he needed to do to conquer the Hittites and Perizzites and the Jebusites and the Canaanites, to conquer the lands, but he chose Solomon to build his temple.
But like I said it, I feel like he know what assignment you assigned for. Like you just say, like you can have. I know people kind of say that, but like you can be a real good person, but in some areas you do have to be a little tough. In some areas you just gotta be a little more tough, you know. So it's if he know what assignment you know. But me personally would go with the righteous person, but you know.
I got you. Yeah. I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. I don't disagree with you. Well, we've probably gone longer than we thought we would.
Yeah.
But generally on these, on my interviews or conversations, I should say, we usually run about an hour because even Superman can't sit and pay attention much longer than that. Right. But we wanted to just sit down and have a conversation and kind of talk about a couple of. I'm just picking at Marlon a little bit, you know, but just to see if we have some basis to, I don't know, do some other programs.
Yeah.
There might be some specific subjects, and we won't be as free flying and floating as we've been here.
Right.
But where we pick a topic and talk about it. It might be about politics, it might be about religion, or it might be about music or something else.
Right.
Right. But that we could sit down and considering diversity.
Yeah.
You know, you're a young black guy, I'm an old white guy. That sounds interesting to me. You know, I'm open for it as long as we can. As long as we can do it.
Yeah,
right. Because hopefully there might be some other people out there in both of our camps.
Yeah.
Who might be, you know, after we get through talking, maybe we haven't covered half of it, and they'll go out and they'll have their conversations about it.
Right.
That's kind of where we're going with this. But Marlon Lee, he's from Atmore. He's a 25-year-old young black man, and with a good-looking guy, as you can see from the camera. And you know, we both enjoy this business of talking to one another, and we both believe in this ideal of loving one another. And so. You have any final comment you want to make on it? Because we'll take a look at this and see if we can get it posted. We may edit a little out, but
what I can say, I say, y'all can go subscribe to my podcast channel, The Voice of Manifestation, on YouTube.
The Voice of Manifestation. We can go to YouTube and put in The Voice of Manifestation.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And another thing I can just say is just keep God first and just always pray.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.